Cisco. Tomorrow starts here.
This is TV18. And you're watching CNBC TV18.
After the success of last year's ABLF Awards in New Delhi, the inaugural Knowledge Congress of the ABLF series was held in Dubai recently. It reflected a global shift as established and emerging economies across the world pursue the creation, evaluation and efficient use of knowledge for growth. The premise around the ABLF series is to address the growing need for collaboration and conversation among Asian corporations looking to extend their businesses' footprint and build global business equity in these times of accelerated economic change and opportunity. Some of the participants at this year's Knowledge Congress were His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Mr. Kamal Nath, Union Minister of Urban Development and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India, Mr. T.K.A. Nair, Advisor to the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Naveen Jindal, Chairman of Jindal Steel and Power Limited, Dr. Chatib Basri, Chairman of the Indonesia Investment Board, Mr. Yusuf Ali, Managing Director of the UAE-based MK Group, Dr. P. Muhammad Ali, Vice Chairman of the Oman-based construction giant Galfar.
Assalamu alaikum, sabah al-khair. Very warm welcome to you, excellencies, dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rebecca McLaughlin-Duane and I'm your Master of Ceremonies for today on behalf of Indian Expressions. The team and the Managing Director, Marlene Menon, and the presenters, supporters and our crucial sponsors are delighted to welcome you to this prestigious Asian Business Leadership Forum series. His Highness has been a true guiding light for this initiative, and it's been through his encouragement and support that the ABLF platform has risen in such significance since the inaugural awards in Delhi last year. Sheikh Nahyan has been instrumental in forging a new path for the UAE's education system, making the Emirates a new hub for higher education and scientific research in the region. And so I kindly call upon His Highness to come to the podium and deliver a keynote address.
It's my great pleasure to welcome you to what promises to be a lively and enlightening forum. I extend a very special welcome to my dear friend and brother Kamal Nath. As the very name of your ABLF Knowledge Congress implies, you will be always concerned with the most fundamental driver of the global economy, namely, of course, education. The best outcome of your deliberations today would be, I'm sure, progress and development for Asia, and I'm also sure that you have recognized the wisdom of this thought. Educating the individual is the country's most valuable investment. It represents the foundation for progress and development. Those are the wise words of our President, the President of the entire Emirates, His Highness Sheikh Ali bin Zayed Al Nahyan, as well His Highness the UAE Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and the Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. I am confident that this forum will help strengthen Asian economies. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wish you all the best and wish you a day of imaginative and productive thinking. Thank you very much.
We innovate to make your travel experience congestion-free. we envision a greener tomorrow where abundant power empowers you. A future where you never run out of clean water. One with clear blue skies and cleaner air to breathe. Hitachi, the leader in social innovation business, is building cities that are greener and more comfortable to live in through our innovative technologies. Hitachi, inspire the next.
Great outdoors. East blending with the West. Dining delights and vibrant nightlife. It all comes together at Asia's hottest holiday destination. Hong Kong, Asia's world city.
At these times, only on CNBC TV 18.
Presented by Hong Kong Tourism Board.
You're my pumpling.
Oh, honey bunny.
Feeling something.
Hello, honey bunny.
Toko.
क्या गाना है? कहाँ सुना?
You're my pumpkin. Hello, honey bunny.
Hello?
You're my pumpkin. Hello, honey bunny.
आइडिया है तो फोन विल रिंग.
You're my pumpkin.
कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक फोन विल रिंग.
Dumpling. Hello, honey bunny. Feeling something. Hello, honey bunny. Toko.
What a network.
Ring. Hello, honey bunny.
This was a big gamble.
The best of action. The best of adventure. The best of romance. The best of real-life stories. The best of history 2012. Every evening at 7 p.m. only on History TV 18.
As technology becomes a catalyst for driving economic growth, we explore how technology is facilitating progress and social development across sectors with an exhaustive on-air series addressing how technology can empower various industries and power growth. Lenovo and CNBC TV 18 present India 3.0, powered by technology. At these times, only on CNBC TV 18.
Presented by Lenovo, for those who do. Co-presented by Intel, sponsors of tomorrow, and Microsoft. Supported by NASSCOM, industry partner Mate.
It is the inaugural ABLF Knowledge Congress, and you're very welcome. Welcome to all of our panelists. Dr. Kamali, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. The role of the government and the private sector and the business sector, how they will work together, and the regulation that sometimes hinders or supports are some of the key challenges that we have to look for if we're going to go and go further as we move ahead. And to look at the opportunities that are out there for Asia and the outlook for the Asia for the next 3 years. I mean, what is it we have to be wary about, or what we have to be aware of, what we have to take advantage of, how do we leverage where Asia stands today for the next 3 to 5 years, given the economy status today. So let me start by Dr. Basri to my left.
Thank you very much. Indonesia has become the 50th largest economy in the world. With the slowing down of the global economy due to the Euro debt crisis, with the slowdown of the US economy, the Asian Development Bank produced a report about a couple months ago with the title is the Asian Century. And there are 3 major poles of growth, which is all of us, I think, sitting around the table. The first one is the greater South Asia, which is, of course, India and also other countries in South Asia. The second one is the greater East Asia, which is China, Korea, and Japan. And the last but not least, there is one indispensable country that is simply you cannot miss. It is the greater Indonesia, which is ASEAN. Why I call it as a greater Indonesia? Because 48% of the ASEAN economy is actually Indonesian economy in terms of size. 42% of the ASEAN population, it is in Indonesia.
I think, Naveen, we come to you now, and you have had a lot to deal with, and then given the part of steel that you come from, I think you have some very strong perspective to give us. David?
Our company, Jindal Steel and Power Limited, it's basically into steel making, mining, power generation, and we have the experience of a lot of experience working in India. So if I was to speak about India, most of our issues are local. You know, we have to handle the local environment because India is a country with 2% of the world's land, with 17% of its population. So it's a heavily populated country. So if you want to do a large project, there are issues of getting land, and takes long time for getting clearances and everything.
Nawal, I know you have the infrastructure background, and we are very keen to hear from your side as to what do you think the opportunities are now.
Okay. Naveen's sort of given you a brief introduction into India, so I won't repeat that. But I believe that the world economy is at a very fascinating stage, because if you look back, high GDP growth rates have only come off the back of significant infrastructure development. Consumption economies can only sort of project GDP growth rates at low single digits. It takes the big infrastructure investments and hence the development of ancillary industry around it to project it to the high 8s and above 10 GDP growth rates. And that's what the Asia, Middle East region is currently poised at.
So Dewey, from your perspective?
Indonesia, that from the global competitiveness report, the infrastructure in ranking of Indonesia is in the 78. So this is the problem, and but we see this is the opportunity. Whoever the government in the next election, I think they will fight to improve this infrastructure, because from the infrastructure, the economic growth that now happen always positively since 1999, it will be better in the future, I think. And then we have also the opportunity of cement consumption per capita that's still low among the country in Southeast Asia, even that is lower than Vietnam, lower than Thailand. It is just 99 kilogram per capita. So I think this is the opportunity in the future for the infrastructure.
Thank you for being with us on this session, and thank our panel member. Thank you very much.
Welcome to each and every one of you.
Over 1,300 teams.
They've gone for it.
20 cities.
-5.
One national title.
Outstanding.
Watch business taking a toll on entertainment, intelligence tackling speed, and a battle of epic proportions.
Put your hands together.
Watch Tata Crucible the Business Quiz 2012 National Semi-Finals at these times.
A knowledge initiative by the Tata Group. Leadership with trust.
The all-new, vibrant collection from Kohler. Scratch-proof, tarnish-resistant, and so stunning that you'll want to build a new house around it.
My parents work at a really great company. They build elevators and zooming fast bullet trains. My dad develops power generation systems. My mom designs CT scan systems. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing sustainable development to life. For a growing future, Toshiba.
दीवारों पर यादें सजेंगी, कमरों में मुस्कान लुका छिपी खेलेगी, रसोई में महकेंगे स्वाद और जिंदगी घर में बंद होते ही हो जाएगी आजाद। आप जिस खूबसूरत घर के बारे में रोज सोचते हैं, आइए वो ख्वाबों का आशियाना साथ मिलकर खोजते हैं। आर काबुल प्रेजेंट्स इंडिया रियल एस्टेट गाइड, सिर्फ CNBC आवाज पर।
इंडिया रियल एस्टेट गाइड प्रेजेंटेड बाय RR काबिल। वायर नहीं, भारत की नब्ज हैं हम। मैगजीन पार्टनर, बेटर इंटीरियर्स।
Meet the new boss, your customer. The data she shares from comments, reviews, and social networks tells a company what to make, what it's made from, how it's shipped, and the way it's sold. Some companies are increasing sales up to 20% by using analytics to tailor experiences to the one person that matters most. That's what I'm working on. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
Welcome to all of our panelists. Next panel discussion is going to be very lively. It's on infrastructure.
The Asian continent, largely led by China and India, has been registering admirable rate of growth of the economies of the continent. For a number of reasons, the rate of growth has slowed down to some extent, but still the Asian countries are leading the world, and they are indeed the engines of growth. Kamalnath sir, would you like to say something?
Thank you very much. At the onset, I want to say I'm delighted to be participating in this ABLF forum series. The Western economies in various stages of stress, Europe, the United States, who are the engines of the global economy, Asia has to emerge as a major engine of the global economy. And in Asia, we have seen the story, which is very much applicable to India, that growth has preceded infrastructure. Growth has happened before infrastructure. Because growth has preceded infrastructure, we have a huge infrastructure deficit. And one of the biggest threats to the growth of Asian economies is going to be if Asian countries are not able to bridge the infrastructure deficit.
May I now request Madam Fatima Al-Jaber to give her perception about the PPP and other aspects relating to the development of infrastructure in the Asian regions.
For the PPP, I think here in the Emirates, we have, I think the UAE is looking at it as more of partnering with the private sector more than really a need to of external capital, bringing capital from outside. I found that India was actually in the stage of the developed countries who managed to develop their PPP regulations and legislation. A public sector need to look into more understanding of how these projects they work, how they can make them profitable, how they can subsidize certain or having certain incentives for investors to join in these and make this partnership successful. And hopefully we can have a PPP market in the GCC.
May I now request Mr. Naveen Jindal?
Lots of railroads can be built because rails, they are the second cheapest option to transport bulk commodity. The cheapest is waterways, and after waterways is railroads. And that is, railroads is something I think which needs to be encouraged all over Asia, because there aren't very many waterways opportunities in most of Asia. So that's because railroads consume 1/5 of the energy that of the road transport. So that's why it needs to be encouraged. And ports, we can all learn from each other's experiences. I think that's most important. And through a forum like this, when we are interacting with each other, maybe we have done something very good in India that you can learn from. Something you may have done, we could learn from that. So I think such exchange of ideas and successful models of private-public partnership is something we can all learn and benefit from. Thank you.
My colleague Fatma, again, she spoke about the ports and then the potential of having such infrastructure within the coast of Oman is endless. In fact, it is a bit late, but it's not too late. Oman, geographically located in an excellent place. Oman has the Sea of Oman, the Gulf, the Arab Sea, the Indian Ocean. Oman historically is an important player within the ancient trade, and I'm specifically talking about the Silk Route.
One of the first things we have to do is to, as leaders in our various countries, at all levels, is to accept and realize that certain infrastructure cannot be done on a model with private investment. For example, water supply. The real problem today is not the awareness, is not the capital, because at the end there is enough available, because the highest savings rates in the world today are in the very regions where you need infrastructure. What is really missing, and which most people, not a single forum has ever mentioned, and that is the attitude to get it done.
Telecom operators have a tremendous request for capital. They need to make huge capital investments at a time when the margins are growing smaller because of competition, and that's an observable fact. Prices are going down, margins are going down, but the risk is going up. How the risk is apportioned and who, between the two parties, the private and the public, bears which risk is the challenge of any public-private partnership, be it in infrastructure or telecommunications.
So we just have to figure out a way where people can come together and figure out a framework in which the execution challenges are minimized, and therefore the risk-reward equation for the private sector is more balanced in order to get infrastructure development expedited in the country.
Let's get straight to it. Our discussion about energy in our closing panel discussion. Please welcome Ranjiv Luthra.
But let me start with, in light of the Fukushima disaster, nuclear disaster, is nuclear power a boon or a bane? And I'll start with the leaders of the pioneers of nuclear power, the Americans, and we are fortunate to have Mr. Hutler, who's the vice chair of Pillsbury, one of the top law firms of the world.
Fukushima was certainly a disaster for Japan and for the Japanese people whose property and whose health was affected by it so severely. But as for nuclear energy itself, I would say it's neither a boon nor a bane. I would say that it is simply an event that hopefully, with the passage of time, will prove to be a useful development for nuclear energy, in that it will cause the industry and the governments involved to develop a stronger set of safety mechanisms for nuclear energy to make it an even safer source of energy in the future. But will Fukushima stop nuclear power? I think the answer to that is a clear no.
Thank you, Steve. Trevor, let's have your view on this area.
The safety standards around the next generation of nuclear power stations have massively improved over the generational steps that have taken place over the last 30, 40 years. I mean, a lot of the nuclear power stations, well, most of them, in fact, were built a long time ago. But in the broader context, I think we just need to be very well aware of the raw power demands that the planet requires, whether it's developed countries, emerging economies. It is absolutely staggering, and frankly, we need every bit of power generation capability that we can muster at a cost that we can economically finance, and it makes sense for the country. And I think we've got to be much, much more thoughtful and integrated in the way we look at all sources of power generation.
India is more dependent on thermal energy. Yes, this also forms part of that energy basket.
and we are going a big way in the renewables.
I think nuclear energy is critical for India's development. For India, nuclear is a long-term sustainable strategy to de-risk ourselves from the reliability security concerns of oil and gas. Coal is fine, but to de-risk ourselves from the risk of oil and gas, nuclear and renewables. Renewables has the added benefit of distributed generation, which is key in the Indian context.
Mr. Isa Abdullah Al-Ghureir Sahib, let's get your thoughts on the subject.
Nobody thought that the UAE will go for nuclear with all its abundance of oil and gas reserve that they have. Nuclear will be one part of the whole energy requirement or production side, but very much stressed by the other speakers that safety is important. And one critical thing that we should also remember that this source is carbon-less production, saying that we should always have not only one segment, not focus only on nuclear or fuel or other things. I think there is one important thing that people I don't know, forget about it, but we should focus on that, is going green.
Please join me in thanking our esteemed panel on their discussion about energy. We look forward to seeing you next year. All the very best. Thank you very much.
The ABLF series offers a common platform for Asian business leaders to forge new partnerships, and such an initiative deserves support through the ABLF series.
Well, we support ABLF because we believe that it's an interesting platform to promote the idea of infrastructure development across the Asia region.
This ABLF event is a very important function given the fact that Asia is expected to lead the economic growth and play a very important role in the coming years.
And I'm really grateful. All the speakers are very nicely presented themselves and good points were discussed. And again congratulate Indian Expression.
The